Welcome back, Islanders. This is Sweet Tea. I got you guys today. We're going to cover week 7 injuries. Listen, guys, this is a laundry list of guys that just went down. I'm only scratching the surface with this list. I'm not even going to be able to get into that much depth because then this episode is going to be forever long. And let's face it, if it's that long, you guys are just going to turn that shit off anyway and just tune me out. But I am going to tell you guys whether or not these guys are questionable, if they're playing, what's going on with them in the status. We're trying to do this later in the week for you because, as I know, this shit changes day to day. So we're going to want to kind of cover this. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So tread carefully. Jimmy G, he's with a back injury. He is out completely. We do know that. We're not 100% sure on who is going to fill in for the role as the backup, if it's going to be Hoyer, who, yeah, we don't know. They haven't made that announcement at the time of the recording. Daniel Jones, neck ruled out. If he does play, it would be a miracle. Neck injuries, they're going to be very cautious. But last that we've heard here on the island is Daniel Jones will be out. Moving on to Justin Fields, another quarterback, thumb injury. He's already been ruled out. He's been ruled out since early this week. So it's safe to say that it's still pretty messed up because he dislocated his thumb. So, guys, make sure you make those changes in your lineup if you did have him. Baker Mayfield, thumb, questionable. This one, I'm not a huge Baker Mayfield fan just because of his attitude. I do like his moxie, but I just don't like his shit talking attitude, even to his own teammates. I think it's wrong. Anyway, besides that, Baker Mayfield though he's a gamer, right? This guy, he's tough. He's as tough as it comes. So I wouldn't be surprised if he, with that thumb injury, still ends up. It's just a thumb bruise. It's a contusion. Even though he's questionable, I wouldn't be surprised if he does play, and I still wouldn't be surprised if he's very effective. Moving on to Roshan Johnson, guys. He's out with a concussion. He's been out. This has been a long one for him because he's been out for a while with this concussion. He's still in the protocol, which makes me a little bit nervous about this. If you've had him on your bench since day one, yeah, you're going to want to put him on your IR and just kind of stash him there because I wouldn't anticipate him coming back anytime soon. Moving on to DeShaun Watson, shoulder. Now, DeShaun's missed a few games. There's been a lot of people speculating and questioning his toughness on this because a lot of people are saying, no, he can throw, he can play. He's just being a little bit of a baby. He's being a little caught. I don't know, but it kind of seems a little wishy washy. So I'm hesitant to kind of throw him in there, even though he's listed as questionable. So I probably wouldn't count on him. Moving on to Anthony Richardson. Guys, you probably already know this. Preaching to the choir, preaching to Bombo. Bombo is big on this guy. I know King and I were more reserved on him early in the season, but then we kind of came around pretty quickly once we saw. Now, King even called it out. He said, look, this kid is going to get hurt if they don't protect him, if they don't do the right things. And lo and behold, he had a shoulder injury. He was only supposed to be out 3 to 4 weeks, but he ended up this week having season ending surgery. So he's out for the year. Just go ahead and drop him unless you're in, one of those dynasty leagues where you're going to keep him and you're going to hold on to him, then I would hold on to him. Next up is David Montgomery, ribs questionable. Now, King and I are both Bears fans. We're very familiar with David Montgomery. Love the guy. Great dude, great locker room guy, great running back. He's really strong. Well, let me rephrase that. He's a solid running back. I wouldn't say great, but I'm gonna tell you guys, he is always hurt. He's just injury prone no matter what, and that's what makes it hard for us to draft him. And some guys were drafting him pretty high, and I just couldn't do it. A lot of us here on the island, we see that, and we kind of cringe when we see people take him super high. But yeah, so he's questionable this week, and ribs are touchy. I would kind of bet him on not being able to start. Staying with the Lions in that backfield, Jameer Gibbs, hamstring, very questionable. This is soft tissue, guys. Hamstrings can linger. I don't know because he's a rookie that they want this to kind of go long term. So they may be extra cautious with him and just keep him out. Just saying, It's questionable game time type of decision, but I would bet that the Lions would be a little bit more cautious with it, which makes the matchup this week for them a little bit difficult when you got your two top backs out. Next up, we got Devonta Smith, hamstring, again, soft tissue guys. He's questionable. They just signed Julio Jones over there. Maybe there's something more to this hamstring issue with him. I'm just kind of speculating, conjecture, shit talking, whatever you want to call it. I have no insights on this. None of us do. But I will say, hamstring questionable, soft tissue. I would be very cautious to throw him in your lineup, to be perfectly honest with you. Next up, Dallas Goedert, growing. When isn't Dallas Goedert hurt? I mean, seriously, every single week you hear about this guy. He blows up for 1 or 2 games, and that's it. He's a flash in the pan when it comes to fantasy. If you were to look at his numbers at the end of the season and the end of the year and say, "Oh, man, he had a great fantasy year." Not really. It was 2 games, maybe 3, and that's it. So it's just a tough position, right? Tight ends in fantasy, it's a crapshoot. It's pretty much Kelsey and then everybody else. Just, you know, plug in whoever it is. And our last 2 guys on this list is Deebo Samuels and Christian McCaffrey. Deebo's listed as day-to-day questionable with a shoulder injury, and McCaffrey is also listed as day-to-day questionable with an oblique injury. He left the game early last week. So it's going to be very interesting. No CMC in the game, and all of a sudden they lose their first game of the season. Brock Purdy loses his first game ever. It's one of those types of situations. If CMC's not in there, I question whether or not they're going to be able to play up to the 49er standard that we've seen them set forth so far this year. Debo, he's kind of a non-factor this year for them anyway. Definitely Purdy and Ayuk are the ones that have that kind of chemistry. So Debo, I'm not too high on, but for those fantasy owners that have CMC, I would be kind of shitting myself if he's not in the lineup because those are big points for you and you know it. So those are the injury reports coming out of week 6 and going into week 7. Good luck with your lineups because a lot of these guys are big names. A lot of these guys are a lot of fantasy points on the board for you. I myself, as a Justin Jefferson owner, am reeling from those points. Whether he gets touchdowns or not, he's always getting over 100 yards receiving, still getting some big points. Obviously, you want the touchdowns mixed in with that. But, you got guys on this list that are very impactful type of players that get you really good points in fantasy. So good luck. And just whatever you do, keep listening, like, subscribe. As Bombo always loves to tell you guys, share. Please share and help grow the island. Listen, we're only here because of you guys. This is only possible because you guys listen to us. You guys follow us. You guys are the ones that do it. That's the main reason why we're here. And we love you all. So with that, I'm Sweet Tea and I am out.